Hi, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor with another edition of Move into the Magic. And my guest today is someone you have become familiar with. She's a dear friend of mine. She is a brilliant medical intuitive. And I've invited her back today because just 2 days ago, Jeff Sessions gave his testimony at the Senate Intelligence Committee. And everybody wants to hear what Catherine Carrigan has to say about Jeff Sessions. Catherine, will you please share your brilliance with us?
Oh, thank you. And thank you everyone out there in the audience for taking your time to listen and watch. So Jeff Sessions. So I wanted to start today with a quote from Mother Teresa, which is, "If you judge people, you have no time to love them." Now, many people come to me because they want to be more intuitive and they want to understand how your intuitive gifts work. And I teach people how to do that. But I have to begin by saying you can't hate someone and read them intuitively. It's very important for me to say that in order to access accurate intuitive information, you have to be a neutral. Now, neutral is not a place that many people come from when discussing politics, or for that matter, in anyone in the political arena. Our habit is to project our prejudices onto people in the public eye, forgetting that they too are human and that they too put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. When we judge, we come from our ego mind. We decide things, people, places, or events are either wrong or right, because of course my point of view is correct. Now, intuitive information actually comes from a place of unconditional love. This is not a weak place at all. It's a vibration that shares compassion for all living beings. So Jeff Sessions, Attorney General of the United States. So now today is Thursday, June 15, 2017. A lot of times people ask me, well, how do you do this? Well, literally what I do is I simply go to the internet, look at a picture of the person, and then tune into their energy and start reading. So as of today, he's 70 years old. Now, the first thing that I do when I do a medical intuitive reading is I look at a person's overall life energy, with 50 being average for a person your age. So I don't compare you to a 22-year-old unless you're actually 22. Now, as of today, Thursday, June 15th, 2017, Jeff Sessions' overall life energy is 42 out of 100, which is kind of low. Now, I looked at, well, what was his life energy 7 days ago? It was 54 out of 100. Now, just 2 days ago, Jeff Sessions testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee. For a person's life energy to drop that significantly in just a matter of days, that indicates they've gone through a huge amount of mental, emotional, and spiritual stress that took a serious toll on their physical body and the rest of their being. So we often forget how stressful it must be to be in the public eye and to be the target of so many people. Now, his most stressed organ is his gallbladder. So when I do medical intuitive reading, 72 to 85% would be normal, healthy functioning. So today, his gallbladder is currently operating at 19%. Now, what is your gallbladder? It's an internal organ. It's underneath your liver on the right side. The gallbladder stores bile and helps us with fat digestion. So if Jeff Sessions was my client, I would recommend that he would restrict cow's milk dairy products. I would have him take a digestive enzyme containing lipase, which helps you digest fat. I would definitely have him drink more water, since your body requires water in order to actually make bile. And if you're dehydrated, that actually contributes to gallbladder insufficiency. As a matter of fact, when I was looking at him, I couldn't really figure out, well, what was the worst stressed, his gallbladder or his kidneys? And I decided it was definitely his gallbladder. But at the moment, he is definitely functionally dehydrated. Now, when you're functionally dehydrated, a lot of the times that's because you're mineral deficient. If you're mineral deficient, your body's not able to fully absorb your water. And it is summertime, and we need to be really paying attention to our electrolytes. So I would recommend that he take a mineral supplement and or a homeopathic such as Rehydrate to help him absorb water. And that's going to help support his gallbladder also. Now, a straight on gallbladder cleanse, I would not recommend for him at this time. That would be too harsh for him. If you're familiar with a gallbladder cleanse, you basically fast all day, and in the evening you drink a combination of lemon juice and olive oil, as well as Epsom salts with water. And then the next day you wake up and you eliminate gallstones. This would definitely be way too harsh for him. But I would encourage him to increase his consumption of bitter green vegetables to support his gallbladder. Again, avoid high fat foods, no fatty foods, no fried foods. And at the moment, I would definitely say do not drink alcoholic beverages. It's going to be way too hard on your gallbladder. Now, I'm also seeing that he's got significant pain at the present time. Now, pain, let's talk about this from my point of view as a medical intuitive. Now, each of us has a pain body, which you can think of energetically as part of your energy field that holds the frequency of pain. Now, it's a law of physics that anytime you have a vertical electrical current, there's a magnetic field perpendicular to that. New Age people call this your aura. There's layers of your energy field. And when I'm doing a medical intuitive reading, I'm reading these layers. Now, his pain level at present is about an 8 out of a 10, which indicates he has a high level of inflammation in the body. Inflammation can definitely be caused by stress, as well as a high pro-inflammatory diet. Now, you may ask, what's the difference between pain and suffering? This is a subject that I've written extensively about. Pain is our physical experience. I'm also working on my 8th book on this subject. Suffering is the emotional experience of our physical pain. And now, when we don't have good energetic armoring, we can take on even more pain. It's my observation that it's quite difficult to be in the public eye, even for the most hardened individuals. Now, few of us understand that when we direct our hatred, judgment, and resentment at another person, we literally throw that energy on another person. Now, personally, I always feel the most selfish thing I can ever do is be kind and generous and compassionate with other people, because whatever I put out is what comes back. Whatever vibration you put out into the world is also what comes back to you. Now, it may not be that much when it's only one person who's angry with you, but when it's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or potentially millions of people on the planet directing negativity toward a single individual, that can take a toll that those of us ordinary folks cannot possibly fathom. To help you have a better idea of understanding the pain body, I'll describe it this way. If any of you have ever seen or recall seeing the comic strip Peanuts back in the day when we had actual newspapers and Charles Schulz drew Peanuts with Snoopy and Charlie Brown, there was a character by the name of Pigpen. And Pigpen basically existed in a cloud of dust. So if energetically you see the pain body of someone in chronic pain, like I'll never forget seeing a client who had fibromyalgia for years, and her pain body looked like Pigpen. So your pain body becomes congested with all the unresolved stress in your life, and that contributes to this experience of suffering. Now, for his physical pain, I would recommend time off work to rest, especially in nature. Nothing clears your pain body but like being in the mountains, being on a beach, being near the ocean, being by a river, massage, therapeutic touch, including hugs from people who love him, increased water we talked about water, and especially distilled water, which pulls toxins out of your joints. But again, I'd also recommend that he take a mineral supplement because I think he's mineral deficient. Physical therapy, Tai Chi, Qigong, and even Feldenkrais, which teach people how to move their bodies in a comfortable way. Ginger and turmeric, and I would definitely get him to stop drinking coffee right now because coffee is a big thing that increases people's pain. Now, the gallbladder insufficiency has placed stress on his digestive system, which is very common in older Americans. A lot of older Americans have trouble digesting their food. But in addition to this, I'm also seeing overall toxicity, especially heavy metals. And I would recommend that he purchase a far infrared sauna for therapeutic detoxification. Far infrared saunas are my favorite way of getting people to get rid of heavy metals. Now, the three main risk factors for cancer are stress. Now, we all have stress, but the level of stress that he's currently experiencing is something that personally I wouldn't want to wish on my worst enemy. And inflammation, which he has in spades, and impaired detoxification. Now, whenever you have one of your major digestive organs not working properly as well as it could, your body's not able to detoxify properly. So I would recommend a gentle detoxification program for him that included not only the far infrared sauna, but also nutritional supplements to support his gallbladder and his other detox organs, green juices, distilled water, and a thorough analysis by a naturopath of his heavy metals and chemical toxicity. Now, next I'm moving into his energy body. And as I mentioned, Jeff Sessions has been energetically drained over the past week with his overall chi level dropping from 54 to 42. And again, if he were my client, I would talk to him about what would help him rebuild his personal energy. Now, one of my books, one of my Amazon #1 bestsellers is called Unlimited Energy Now, and it discusses this precise subject. How do you rebuild your energy when you're exhausted? And for Jeff, what I feel would really help him is playing, especially with children. Because when we play, and especially when we play with children, you can let your guard down, you can drop your armoring, you can just be yourself, you can be in the moment, be in the now. Meditation to give his mind a rest. Now, we understand that if we over-exercise, we can exhaust our muscles, but few of us consider that we can deplete ourselves by overthinking or by excessive worrying. Listening to music. When you listen to music, you literally change your vibration. And sleep, as I do believe he is sleep deprived. Now, again, in the energetic body, his primary operating chakra, 11th chakra. Now, your 11th chakra is above the crown of your head. This is sometimes referred to as the commander chakra. From this place, you can energetically control not only yourself, but people and events around you. However, it is energetically exhausting to try to control the world. Sometimes we have to release our grip and allow events to unfold, trusting that God is always good and that all things work out for the highest good, even if we don't really understand how or why, and even if the whole thing looks like a big mess at the moment. Now, his entire chakra system is depleted at the moment, and I feel he would definitely benefit from hands-on healing such as Reiki, where you simply lie on a table and a practitioner such as myself, infuses energy into the person. Now, emotional body. Now, his primary emotion for the past week has been rage. Now, rage is an extreme form of anger. It's also an emotion that places tremendous stress on the gallbladder. And as I've explained, Jeff Sessions has been under tremendous stress, and this is not usually his primary operating emotion. Like, we can all just get out of sorts at times. Now, his usual primary emotion over the past 6 months, what I looked at is what's been his emotional process over the past 6 months. And it's coming out of his stomach meridian, which is doubt. And from what I can see, and this is getting ahead into his mental body, he enjoys playing devil's advocate. He likes to look at things from all sides, sort of a 360-degree view, so that he can argue from all points of view. Now, on an emotional level, I also see him doubting himself in the form of self-questioning. Now, the rage he's currently feeling and the doubt he has been feeling have placed tremendous stress on his third chakra. Third chakra energetically is in your solar plexus, and this is our center of psychic feeling or clairsentience, which in turn has stressed his digestive system to the point where I think he even has a little trouble eating. I also see some nausea as a result of all the stress. Now, many of us can handle a certain level of stress. I know that we all have a set point, just like your body weight is a set point. But the wheels can really start falling off the cart when that stress gets cranked up to the point where we feel like we're on the rack in a medieval torture chamber. And I think this is kind of how he's been feeling. Now, the other thing, and again, being really compassionate, Jeff Sessions has not been able to go over his emotional stress because there seems to have been one event after the other. And I think this is part of why his pain body is so congested. He's not been able to recover from what happened yesterday because of what's happening today and so on. And personally, I wouldn't wish this level of emotional stress on my worst enemy. Now, mental level. Although he is of above average level of intelligence, from what I can see, Jeff Sessions is not a genius. And the current level of mental chess he faces in Washington has depleted him mentally. So I would recommend craniosacral therapy or again, hands-on healing for his brain to help restore his mental qi. In Qigong, we talk about our three danquans and lower, middle, upper, and he's depleted in all areas. Now, like many other 70-year-olds, he's not as sharp as he was when he was in his 20s. I see his overall mental acuity is about 20% less. So, when we get older, we have wisdom, but we can also slow down. Now, despite the high level of mental stress, he's neither depressed nor anxious, but just simply exhausted. Secretly, I think he can't wait to take a nap and allow the storm that's actually out of his control to pass over him. Now, on the spiritual level, Jeff Sessions' primary psychic gift is clairsentience or psychic feeling. Again, this is our third chakra. Our clairsentience comes from our third chakra. People who are high in clairsentience are good people. They're good at reading the energy and emotions of other people. But I see this area as being really clogged up at the moment. This is part of why his digestive system is overstressed. Many clairsentient people also have digestive problems. I help lots of them. And once you get your nutrition sorted, then the other, the real challenge is learning how to do a better job managing your stress and not internalizing it. Now, although he has grown accustomed to the fighting, he's had to try to armor over his sensitivity, which has made him disconnect from the natural human warmth that would usually sustain his soul. Now, as a feeler, when you have to shut down your psychic feeling, you don't quite feel like yourself and you lose touch with who you really are or who you really want to be. I think he would be the happiest as a kindly grandfather with a child on either name. I think he's looking forward to the day when he can retire, to be honest with you. Now, his archetypes include truth seeker. From what I can see, he's always been searching for the truth in all forms. Knight. And this is interesting because it tells me that at a soul level, despite his physical fatigue, there's a part of Jeff Sessions that is almost youthful in that he's willing to fight for his king like a young knight. Now, knights have peers, so he definitely sees himself as one of the guys defending his king. Father is another one of his archetypes. I think that may be, in fact, his favorite archetype. The next one I'm going to talk about, he does have 3 children. And although many men have children, not all of them have fully embraced their role as father. Just as women can adore being a mother, men can also adore being a father and a grandfather. In this role, as in the father role, men can escape from their duties as provider, protector, into a male nurturing, and in so doing, open up their empathy, their sympathy, and their compassion. And the last archetype that I see him doing is hero. Now, those who operate out of the hero archetype definitely want to see themselves as the good guys who fight for the good. Now, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, Jeff Sessions definitely sees his work as a battle of good versus evil, good guys versus the bad guys. Now, past life vows. Now, when I looked at his past life vows, he definitely has taken oaths of retribution or vengeance. Now, if he were my client, I would do a healing to clear those vows. So he's definitely going, again, he's got that hero archetype, and he's definitely taken vows of retribution or vengeance. And if I was going to clear those vows, the negative aspect goes like this. If in any lifetime I or anyone on my behalf made an oath of vengeance or retribution, I hereby rescind such vows for now and for all times. We have to realize that God is good, God's in charge, the universe is perfect, karma is perfect, and when people make a mistake, it all comes back to them multiplied. So we don't really have to go around avenging wrongs ourselves. We can leave that up to a higher power. Now, the positive aspect of clearing this oath of retribution also goes like this. I now affirm the light and protection that surround us all. I allow my thoughts to be free. I lovingly forgive and release all of the past. I am at peace. And lastly, I looked at some of his karma, and if Jeff Sessions was my client, I would do a karmic clearing to release negative interference of all clients and to release all negative cords and hooks. So that's a summary of Jeff Sessions, and we can have compassion for him and the stress that he's under.
Catherine, once again, that was marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. I love your insight. Astrologically, what's so interesting is Jeff Sessions is a Capricorn with Mars, the warrior, the fighter, conjunct his sun in Capricorn, and we don't have a birth time for him, but his moon is also in Capricorn. This is all squaring Neptune, and so that is the one fighting for the cause, the ideal, the knight in shining armor who is going to save the day. It's just, I mean, astrology goes hand in hand, of course, with what you are saying. And several months back, I did on my Trumpology report on my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor Astrologer, I did a solar reading on Jeff Sessions. And those of you who have not seen it might be interested in scrolling through my Trumpology reports, because there we have the astrological interpretation, and Catherine Carrigan has given us this beautiful medical intuitive interpretation of what she has seen. And Catherine, I want you to please come back again and again, because there are going to be many people who we're going to want to look at through the eyes of love, through the 0-point field of creative love. And so I want to thank everybody in our audience for joining us today. And join us next time. And remember that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Bye for now.